I just want to start by acknowledging that I am coming to you from Gadigal land, and to pay my respects to elders past, present, and the next generation of the Eora Nation, and to acknowledge that this always was and always will be Aboriginal land. I also want to acknowledge something that the Lord Mayor always does, is to acknowledge that we're meeting in one of the most diverse places in the world, and that incredible series of networks of storytelling traditions, ways of solving problems, ways of building community. That's one of the great strengths that we have in Sydney, and it's something that we need to tap into whenever we can. Also, what a group on this call, 116 participants. I've just been scrolling through and secretly screen grabbing you all because you're so fab. I mean, there's such a wealth and depth of knowledge here. Eva Cox, shout out to Eva Cox here, who has been talking about social capital for a very long time. Hi, Eva. You've got incredible people making change in the local community in so many different ways, like Kieran Kevins from the amazing Glebe Youth Service. But this is like romper room for everyone of my generation. You know, if I get stuck shouting out everyone who's in the screen, I won't get to what I want to tell you about. But I also want to acknowledge Linda Scott, our fellow councillor at the City of Sydney. Thank you for being here, Linda, as well, and acknowledge all the awesome work of the Sydney Commons Lab. But look, I've used up a minute and a half and I have so much I need to tell you, so I'm going to be much faster. Yes, the Commons is a real passion of mine. I'm so happy that we've been able to embed commoning much more in the work of the City of Sydney. And there's three pieces of work we've been working on recently I want to tell you about, but also a whole lot of challenges I just want to kind of throw at you to have in the back of your mind over the course of this day. The first is that, yes, I did convene a Commons Lab roundtable back in 2018 at some point, and basically we were asking, what can we do to advance commoning in Sydney? What sectors would benefit the most from commons thinking and that frame? And what are the key principles of commoning that we'd like to embed in our strategy and advocacy work as a city? So that's something that I think we're still processing and still open to receiving input from the sector on. Then last year, I requested that the city develop a local preference policy to encourage the development of jobs and the retention of wealth within our local community. So the intention there was to see how we spend money at the city. I was really heartened to see that 54% of our spend is in the local economy, but there is an opportunity for us to increase that. According to the research that city staff have done, only 12% of local businesses are registered as suppliers to the City of Sydney. And there is a huge opportunity for us to increase the representation of not just local businesses, but also beneficial and impact businesses and organisations, social enterprises, organisations from the democratic economy, the kinds of organisations that have multiplier impacts and benefits within our local community. I want you to take our money, please. So let's figure out ways to build capacity within the sector, because the City of Sydney spends $500 million a year just on goods and services. And we could be a huge amplifier of the good that you do and the benefit you bring to the community. So that's why earlier this year, in the time before COVID, I brought another motion to council, which was to develop a community wealth building policy. And that was really to position the City of Sydney as an anchor institution, of course, inspired by the work of Democracy Collaborative. Shout out to Nate, and shout out to the people at Claire's as well in the UK who are doing great work on this front. There's so much that can be gained by keeping money circulating locally, but this is where we need you. Because it is hard to actually be a supplier to an organisation like the City of Sydney. It takes a lot of work, there's a lot of paperwork involved. How can we support organisations in the ethical and beneficial economy to be suppliers? And I was very excited, Heather, to hear you volunteering some student labour for this one. So I think we should draw on that, and we should draw on all of the students and people emerging in this sector. Oh, I have so much to say and so little time. The last thing, two last things I want to tell you. As part of that work in the city, adapting our approach to community wealth building, our CEO, Monica Barone, has written to the CEOs of a whole bunch of other institutions that could be great anchor institutions, including councils, Bayside Council, Burwood, Canada Bay, Canterbury, Bankstown, Georges River, Inner West, Randwick, Waverley and Sutherland Shire. Please take this up with them and see what you can do to expand this impact. The Museum of Arts and Applied Sciences, which is the powerhouse, the local area health district, Sydney University, UNSW, UTS and TAFE. So they're just the beginning, I think, of an anchor institution network in our city that we can expand on. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the idea of anchor institutions, but really these are big organisations that can redirect our spend to do more work in our local area. And then the very last thing I want to leave with you is that work all began before COVID, but COVID has only sharpened our focus on the need for community wealth building. And when we released our COVID-19 community recovery plan, we set out 4 key recovery goals, including support for a resilient economy and community wealth building. So we want to support local procurement and promote local businesses and catalyse the changes needed to build wealth within our community as part of our recovery process. So the time is now for us to catalyse all of this forward momentum. We're working on the demand side, but we need you as the sector to work on the supply side and support the industries, support the beneficial impact and democratic sector and the social enterprise sector to be suppliers to organisations like the City of Sydney. And as has been mentioned in the comments as well, to amplify that work beyond the City of Sydney as well. So thank you for having me today. Thank you for convening this really powerful group, and I look forward to listening to the conversation.